I'm a single parent trying to raise my children, so what can you tell me? Hey, welcome everybody. Today we're here to talk all about that, and I have Lorraine Tully here with me today.
Hi.
Trying to introduce yourself, Lorraine.
I'm sorry to introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I have, I'm a mom more than anything. I have a very big family and they take a lot of my time and my heart. But I also work in financial services and my passion is to help people and coach them into financial health.
Mm. Yes. So Lorraine is one of my lovely mentors that I have been empowered to be connected with. And so, I am very big on teaching our women financial wellness. And I think that Lorraine is a great connection and
Thanks.
wisdom to have. So I wanted to come on here and me and her just kind of have a conversation about it. She always has really good things to talk about, very good mind opening, wealth wealthy information to give, you know. Um Something that really stood out to me is yesterday we were talking about disciplines and virtues. And I really appreciated that information that you were giving to me. And I would like you to talk about that here and kind of just, tell everybody exactly what it is you have going on. Tell them about this wealth matrix that you got.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, actually, we were talking about virtues in the context of, achieving our goals and
Mm-hmm.
particularly our financial goals. So the wealth matrix is basically the work of my life in the financial services. I started with a passion helping artists achieve their goal. So I was an agent to artists for a while there, and I've always been involved in the arts. And of course, the financial services is not set up for people that have that kind of lifestyle, performing and such. So I started deep into checking out, what was this all about and how I can help them. So the wealth matrix actually came out of all of those experiences because after 20 some years of having licenses, securities, insurance, getting into every single thing possible that I could learn about because I just wanted to learn. I figured out that there is so much information.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, if you don't know about any kind of subject, it's because you just haven't been even using your finger. Because the only thing that you need to do is clip, 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 and you'll be able to find out the information. But still, that information really doesn't mean anything and actually can be pretty bewildering. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And it's too much, it's like, I
Yeah,
know
it's
about this
overwhelming.
and about, yeah, I know about, the trading thing and, stocks and, I know what's going on in politics and what, and it's too much. It's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. And right now, I always tell people our brains, our RAM in our brains are getting too full. We're not, we don't know how to process information that goes so fast, right? So part of that is because we are meant to live our own lives with a purpose that is singular to every one of us. And in a way, we all know that. We know that.
Yeah.
So I always tell people about, that talk about purpose. And there's a lot of information about how to find your purpose, and how to, line it up in your heart and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, look at the birds. They're just birds, you know. We're just
Mm-hmm.
humans, It's like, I don't, we're the only ones that get all mixed up in all of this. And in that, one of the most important things is how we develop, right? And in that
Right.
development, we have this desire to expand and do more, and be more, right? And that really, really ties into financial services or to our finances, because in our society, the best measure of how expanded you are is your bank account. You know, unfortunately, it's not the truth. It's just the way it is in our society. So the wealth matrix basically shows people, it's a map, because all of this information and all of these realities are all over the place for us. And that includes even people that have PhDs in this stuff, even people that are very accomplished in financial services or, science or whatever. They are disjuncted. Sometimes it's very hard to have integrity because there's so much out there. We're trying to pull it to us, right? I
Right.
show people a map. The wealth matrix is a map. I show people what belongs to the outside, what belongs to our inside, right? And there's a lot of information on
100%.
that. There's a lot of information on spirituality, our
Right.
quantum, expansion thing that we have going on, how deep our soul really is connected to the outside, etc. All of that. There's a lot of information on that. But I tell people,
Mm.
yeah, Jesus is coming, but I still have to pay my rent. So,
Part.
you know, I have got to figure it out because I can't be all spiritual and yay, but we have to wake up and pay the rent and balance the
Right.
checking, all that, right? So the wealth matrix, again, it's a map. It shows what our system is, what our reality is in terms of the metaphysical part of it, which is totally real. And a lot of people are totally disconnected from that. And when it comes to discipline, in the middle, there's a frame. And that frame is what I have discovered is our frame of power, is how we can interact in the system and even outside of the system. The
Mm.
outside of the system also has an economy. Spirituality also has an economy. We also earn merit and we can earn in spiritual terms. Our frame is basically what we can control, how we maneuver, how well we maneuver. And that central part is the part that they don't teach us. In the sense that even when you take these courses, because I've taken good zillions, believe me, I spent thousands of dollars just in every single, spiritual or wealth, scheme, scammed, whatever you
Right.
can imagine. Because I just want to learn, and I do have that drive to be able to do that, and a lot of people do too, and they spend the $97, the $300, the $1,000, and at the end of the day, we have to have that power. We're the conductors of our own lives, and that's what they don't teach us, because every single part of this society really wants us to be dependent on them. So the teachings of how we are empowered to do things ourselves is almost there's not silenced. You know what I mean? So our frame of power is really our mindset, the development of virtues, discipline, and integrity. Those four things. Because if we don't have the right mindset, we're, you know, basically what we think, our thinking, it's our drive. We wake up in the morning and we start, oh my gosh, I have to take the laundry. Oh my Lord, I'm going to have to go by the bank. We start, you know, and
Right.
on that, we start acting, and we start doing because we're thinking and we're going. And if we think right, we're going to do right. If we know, we're going to be, letting our thinking take actions that are either fearful or are not going to help us, with our development, or are we going to take actions that actually are going to help us? The virtues part is because what they don't teach you is like, you can know every strategy or whatever you want, but at the end of the day, our hearts need to develop virtues that are The central ones are the typical, those are biblical, and that there's a reason for that, is faith, hope, and charity. Okay? Faith is closely tied to the mindset. That faith, if you wake up and you have no faith, you're depressed. And the
Right.
reason you're depressed is because you're looking at things and going, I can't do this. You know,
Right.
that's what's going on. And that's normal. I mean, that means that the outside is messed up and you're having a reaction. But you have to realize that your power is in your faith, knowing that you can overcome that poopy situation that you may be in. Okay?
Right.
So that is
Right.
the development of virtues. And then you have to have discipline. Discipline is basically having a car, putting gas, and going to the pedal. So the pedal on the metal is your discipline. And I was sharing with you, it's like, I'm really bad with discipline. I have to admit, that's my, and I have found out that a lot of people like discipline and they need something from the outside to give that to them,
Right.
right? So some teacher, some coach, whatever. But if you need it, do it, but realize that that's you. You can do that. That's your power. If you can stimulate yourself to have enough discipline. And then the integrity. A lot of people get in stuff, and we were sharing this as well. A lot of people get in activities, in jobs, in careers that at the end of the day really don't line up with their heart,
Yep.
you know,
Don't feel good.
or their values. You
Yeah.
know, it's like at the end of the day, it's like, and I have to confess, I'm in financial services, but you know what? It's like, I'm not into money. I mean, I'm really not. I love people and whatever. And a lot of people that are in money, like traders and whatever, a lot of people, they're miserable. They're totally miserable. And
That's a
part of it
miserable
is,
world to be in.
yes, and part of it is because they're really not, this is really not lining up with their values. Where it all works together, you have a good mindset. You're developing your virtues. Humility is also a virtue. Shut up and listen and learn.
Mm,
That's hard for a lot of people. Have the discipline, whether from the outside or the inside. You have to have discipline. Do the things and then line them up with your heart. You have that. That's your power. That's you. Nobody can do that for you. That will help you have your purpose, which is the motor outside in the metaphysical. And that will help you also be able to discern what about the system you need to use for your benefit. And that's how it
mm.
works.
Okay. You said a lot.
Yeah, I
You
know.
said a lot. But that I can honestly say humility is a big thing for me because it takes a lot to really say, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm confused. I don't know where to go. Especially like, let's say this, right? Being women of color, we have this stigma that we have to stay strong, right?
Right.
We're always strong, right? And because of that, like I will say from my own perspective, I came from a family of a lot of strong women, right? A lot of
Right.
strong women.
So you
And
had to fend for yourself.
right, like my grandmother was a single black woman, mother of two by the time she was 18 years old.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
And it's like she was a very strong woman. And because I came from all these strong women, it it made it really hard for me to connect to my feminine side and soften myself. And I'm still gaining that knowledge and that wisdom in that, you know. But
Right.
to say, hey, I don't know, was just something that just wasn't a part of my vocabulary growing up,
You have to
you
figure
know.
it by yourself.
Right.
It's
Like
like, no, I
whatever
can do
my
this.
exactly. Like, like part of the thing is it's like me going and like just going through this life now. Like I tell people, ever since I decided to become an entrepreneur and work for myself, that's been the biggest spiritual journey of my life, because this is nothing but self discovery. You know,
Indeed.
like you
Indeed.
have to find out what makes you feel good. You know, what makes you feel, because if you don't feel good waking up every day doing it, you're not going to want to do it. Take it from me, y'all. I'm telling you right now. How many of y'all
That's
sat
right.
here and said, "Oh, I'm gonna," you know what I'm saying, create a t-shirt business. And then you wake up and you just don't feel good and you don't want to do it. It doesn't make you feel good doing it,
Yeah. But
you
you know,
know?
like when you had that motor of of purpose, you know, it's kind of like the song, and it hurts so good because you're going through all of this, but you have to get there, you know. And what I have
Right.
found out is that when we can when you can say I lack humility, that means that now you have the opportunity to find out why and what
Mm-hmm.
will work for you, right? So the
Right.
moment that we know and we can pinpoint, oh, I'm missing this, let me explore, let me go here and develop that. And what I found out, basically, I want to say bar none, or 99.99% all the time that we have a failure in virtuous discipline, mindset, anything, it's fear. Okay, fear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and on the other side is the other thing in the positive that really hurts us is comfort. So comfort and fear are our enemies. They both paralyze us in it just, you know, people that are comfortable are not seeking, are not moving. They're just staying there. And I remember I used to have a music teacher. She, you know, she was amazing. And, you know, through that discipline of the music, she used to teach us stuff, right, about life. And she always used to say, if you stay the same, if you're not better musician, and she used to go like this. It stinks. You know, it's like you just get rotten, you know, because you're staying the same. You're in the same place and you're like, "Bleh," it will deteriorate, right? That's what she used to say. And always stay in my mind. It's like, am I moving forward? Is this expanding? And fear, of course, everybody understands fear. You know, it's like you don't do things. The reason you don't say, you know, I need help is because that may open you up for abuse, you know, from other people that are stronger. If they know that I'm not strong, you may get hit by other people that are stronger than you. And that's fear, you know, or you're fearful that you're not going to get the answer. You're fearful that maybe people are not going to see you as an intelligent, capable person if you ask for help. So all of those things come in and they happen immediately. So our job is, if we can continue to work on our mindset, on our virtues with discipline, and keep it in our integrity, we will always, you know, be able to drive it. We'll drive it.
Right.
Now, there is one thing, and I do teach, you know, the map, right, to people. I found out that the map works for just about everything, but in particular for the financial services and the financial dynamics, right?
Gotcha.
But I tell people there is one sauce, there's one secret sauce that makes this whole, it's kind of like the oil of it all. It's what oils
Okay.
it up. And that is conviction, whether positive or negative.
Mm.
When you get convicted and you say, oh, hell no. I am not going another month with a minus in my checking account. Or, oh, hell no. I am not going to let that man take my money again. Whatever it is, whatever motivates you. Oh, hell, I don't want to go to that job anymore. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to do whatever it takes, you know, whatever. That conviction, it's kind of like, it oils it up. It just makes you figure it out. You know, you make mistakes, but you figure it out. The conviction, you know, it can be on the positive, you know, also when people tell you, oh my gosh, My voice is amazing. I want to become a singer. I'm going to be the best singer ever. And then you have that conviction and you want to do it, right? Or I'm an athlete and I see the potential. People see the potential. I see the road. I want to do it.
Right.
That conviction. At some point, you must have had that conviction that I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to make it, no matter what, whatever that was, it's your propulsion. And it's what some people call the why, but the why changes, but it sure helps you out, you know?
Yeah, the why does change because my why changed at least 5 times now.
Yep.
The
Yep.
why does change. Your purpose sometimes changes. I've noticed that too as I go through this journey. Like I thought I was doing it, well, at that time I was doing it for one reason. And then now here I am with a completely different purpose,
Right.
completely different goals.
Yeah.
Now, you might have this vision that you, and something that Tamika really taught me that I really appreciated. Tamika said, she was like, your mind, it works, it's moving, and then sometimes you think that you don't know and you don't have it, but you just haven't been able to like really put it together and compute how it's supposed to be put together yet. You know? So like for example, when I created my business, I created it and I was like, dang, I think that I need to change the name and do all this other stuff. She was like,
Right.
no, you
No.
you did just fine. You did what you were supposed to do. You haven't figured out how to put it all together yet, but it's gonna happen, you
Right.
know? And it's like trusting yourself. Like you said, fear is a problem. It's a problem, but I think like Genesis 1:29 to 1:31 basically states that God made all things and all things are good. Because there's always positive and negative, right? It's always, they go hand in hand in order to become neutral. So you have to have both, right? And when you embrace the fear, it's like, yes, you're going through this fear. It's freaking terrifying, right? It's
Yes.
terrifying. But when you embrace that fear and you have the humility to acknowledge that you are fearful, right?
Right. And
And
courage is a virtue. You're talking about courage. It's not that
there
you
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 go.
don't you're not fearful. You're fearful, but you do it anyway. You're
Right,
going
right.
forward.
You have the courage. You're fearful, but you're doing it anyway. And so it's like now that fear is turning into something more positive because you're utilizing that to keep going. And it's like instead of being scared that it's not going to be done right, I'm not doing this right, just do it.
Do
Just
it.
do it. Like, oh my God, y'all, I created an intro video, like little intro clip for YouTube years ago. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, start my YouTube years ago. Never started it, right?
And it has
And then
cobwebs
here I
now.
am, right? Here I am starting my stuff, and
Mhm.
I have this intro clip, and I'm like, I'm gonna use this intro clip. And it's just like, you just gotta do
Right.
it. You just gotta do it and just keep going. And you'll figure it out as things happen. We learn by making mistakes. If you don't make a mistake,
Unfortunately.
yeah, right? If you don't make a mistake, how are you to learn, right? How are you to learn if you don't make a somebody had to mess up first,
Right.
you know?
Right. And figure
And
it out.
right. And here
Right.
I am making these mistakes. I'm making these mistakes. I can teach my daughter how not to make these mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, child, let me tell you
Amen.
something. Tell you what your mama learned, okay? Teach my daughter, teach my sons. Let me tell
Right.
you how your mama moved so you can learn from this. Now, sometimes, I've learned that children still like to bump their head.
Well, they have
You
their
know,
own set. They will
right.
come up with their own, but not yours. Fortunately, not with yours.
Right, exactly. So like at the end of the day, we all want to learn on our own way and have our own paths, and we discover things on our own. And my mother always told me I was that child that had to see that something was hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they got that honest. Let's be real, right? Like she was like, Mama was like, growing up, you just every time the water was running, I had to take you to the water so you see it touch the water. Like she was
Yeah.
just like, you was always a busybody, always wanting to be observant and
Curious.
touch. Curious.
Curiosity. Yes.
Yes, I was always curious. And that's been a burden.
Well,
and an empowerment.
yeah, and children, and I've had many children, and one of the things I tell people, particularly people that are a little bit jaded because they're in the system and they wake up and they have to go to the job and they're sick and tired and their marriage is not working and the kids are unruly. I mean, it's a lot, what I'm saying, and you get like that. But I say, like, you have to stop a moment, take a minute, stop for a minute and imagine. That's something that when you look at kids, kids do that so perfectly. And you see them, I always used to love it when my kids were really quiet and when they were with a little toy and you would see them going, you know, and I would just observe it because I knew that in their mind they were creating this world. It may have seemed just like a little stick to them, but I would see the boys going, or and they're making all these things, and I will leave them alone and observe them. We need to kind of like get out of our world sometimes and go into something that we can create, and we can always control our mindset, our minds. We can always do that. Nobody can do that for us. And we can
Right.
always say, okay, this is horrible. I'm here in this, and I used to do that all the time. I used to do this all the time. I was a secretary. I hated it. Oh, I hated it. It was, oh, the bosses were so awful, and they treated me like dirt because I was like, I had a worse accent than I do now, and I was just like, it was just like a
I love
learning.
your accent.
Oh, it was so, and I was young and stupid, the whole 9 yards, right? But I used to sit down, and I would go down the hallway, you know, and every now and then, because it was so miserable, I would say, like, if I was the boss here, and then I would go down the hallway and say, I'm going to tell you this. And I would play for a little bit, and that really helped me to kind of like see myself as the boss, not as the person that was under a horrible boss. So I would
Right.
play it out. I also tell my clients when I talk to them, I tell them things, and I tell them on purpose because I want them to think. I want them to think otherwise. And I say things like, when we do the health insurance, I tell people, with health insurance and with life insurance, I tell them, hey, you know, you can take this money, God forbid you're ever sick, you could take this money and go to the Bahamas and die in peace, whatever. Or I tell them, now that you have your subsidies from Obamacare or whatever, right? You're getting this and you're going to have this. I said, like, remember that if anything changes, you have to call me so that I can fix your file on time. And it's like, so when you hit the lottery, you're going to have a party and invite me, and then we're going to fix this thing with the Obamacare thing. So, because you're not going to need the subsidy. So if that happens, you have to call me back. But it puts the seed there. Hey, I could win the lottery. I could be talking to Lorraine to tell her that I don't need the stinking subsidy anymore. You know.
Right. Right.
So I love that. I love that. I love kids, and I think that we age because we leave that kid away. There again,
Hmm.
it's like we're Christians, and Jesus said you have to be like a kid. A kid is pure, they just create their worlds, because they have access to everything, in God. They have that connection still. We're the ones that are here, like, and we're like this, and we're like, oh, everything is horrible, blah, blah, blah. Get out, get out of that. There's so
Right.
much more in the world, and it's there for you, and you have a place in that world. You have something to do, and you have a space that you need to fill, and we're only happy when we fill it. And that's it.
No, seriously, I feel that. I feel that for sure. I appreciate this time you've taken to meet me today.
Ah,
And we're
appreciate it
definitely
too.
going to have you back again.
Thank you.
Anything you would like to leave or say for anybody?
No, I just want, they say, oh, dream or whatever, don't dream, just do it. You can, you have it. If it's in your brain and your heart, it's because it's there. Just pull it out and just get it done.
I read this book that said, be delusional.
Yes.
I love it. Like, just be delusional. Like, you are the biggest, the baddest out there. Can't nobody tell you nothing different. Just be delusional. I love it.
Yes,
But
yes.
you are doing free consultations for the Wealth Matrix, right?
That's right. I am going to start a series of presentation of the wealth matrix as the map. You'll be able to see it, and we'll just go through it, what it is. For the people that really want to go profoundly into what it is, like for example, we have the matrix has the financial literacy, financial integration, and financial mastery. For each one of those, which is actually the part of our system that they don't teach us in school, thank you
Mm-hmm.
very much. That part, is like I do have coaching sessions, and those coaching sessions are paid, but the initial introductory session is not. I want everybody to be able to at least see it and have the benefit of having that resonate with them so that they can get the resources they need.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm going to make sure that I have all your information to contact you and schedule that no cost consultation with you.
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
All right.
Everybody, have a good
Thank you
day.
so much, Bree. This has been a delight. Thanks.
For sure. Thank you.